see that? Red-footed falcon. First one of the year. First one since the year before last, come to think of it. Or was it the year before? I have to check my notes when I get home. I hardly ever see them. That's made my day. Shame no one else saw it. Been quiet all day, had the place to myself. Except for the Falkland and his friends, of course. Busy as you like out there. Should have taken a picture for the next club meet. Show everyone. Bit like it hasn't happened when no one else sees it, isn't it? Wonder if it'll come back. Maybe I should set up the camera. Where is it then? What's in here? I'm sure. I bet Lisa's taken it. What am I doing? It's this big. It's not like it's hidden at the bottom. Some chocolate wrappers down there. Probably for the best anyway. Not the greatest photographer. Dean, he's my deputy. He does a quiz every year. The Christmas thing. Bit of a fundraiser. Well, he introduced a category around my photos called Name That Blur. He picked out all the bad ones. There were extra points for anyone who could remember what I'd been trying to take. You should have seen him. Question 1. Who can identify the blur in the background of this detailed study of a blade of grass? Question 2. Can you tell which bird would like to perch on a branch like this? Question 3. What was Mark looking at when he took this picture of his own feet? And there's a bonus point to anyone who can guess which bird was in this section of sky just before the shot was taken. Cheeky bugger. Perhaps have a ring round later. Suggest some of them come down tomorrow if they've got time. Maybe he'll still be here. Can't see any sign of him now though. Perhaps that'll be it for another couple of years. What do you think? Smart, eh? A present from the Gottingen Birdwatching Society. Or should I say, Vogelkundlerverein. Look, even I have an inscription. They're really good ones. They're not mine. Not really. They belong to the club, but they kind of live with me. It's not like we have a permanent base where we can store them. I'm keeping them safe. As the chair, you know. Reckon I earned them mine. It was my idea. Well, it was Lisa's actually. She's on the twinning committee. Always busy with something. If it isn't Gottingen, it's Annecy or Sochi or Cheltenham, USA. So there she was, one evening tapping away at something or other. And she turns to me and says, "You know what we were talking about tonight? How nice it'd be to introduce people with the same hobbies from our twin towns, like bird watching. There must be bird watching groups in other countries. We should do an exchange." Always trying to get me involved. She's a people person. Loves meeting new folk, always making new friends. You can't understand how I don't need to. How I'm happy in my own company, just watching. I can sit still for hours. She can't sit still for a second. Brought her to the hide with me once. Never again. Never stopped talking. There's nothing there, she kept complaining. It's really boring. She scared everything away. No patience. So, she suggests an exchange. My first reaction, here we go again. Then I think, they do have some really interesting birds abroad. Things we don't see here. So I agreed to take the idea to the next meeting. I didn't have high hopes, but there's no harm asking, I thought. Talk about pushing an open door. You should have seen them. I've never seen so much enthusiasm. I was flabbergasted. The only argument was which twin town to visit first. Pete's pushing for America because they speak English and because he's funny about food and reckons it'd be easier for him there. Rob, it turns out, has been learning Chinese for the last 4 years. So can we go to China? Jack very sensibly suggests Europe would be more straightforward, not to mention cheaper. No consensus whatsoever. So of course they all look at me. Dean's no use at all. He can see the benefits of every destination, but he can see the problems too. You're the chair, he says. You decide. So I did. Gottingen, I said. We should start at the beginning. We twinned with them first, so we should ask them first. See if they say yes. I braced myself for an argument, but nothing. Not a peep. There's a brief pause, and they're off. Black woodpeckers, red-backed shrikes, black kites, honey buzzards, hoopoes, short-toed tree creepers. Everyone's busy imagining what they might see, and when Jill says, I'd love to see a melodious warbler, well, that was it. If they could have got on a coach and gone right then, they'd have done it. Can I bring Jean? Pete even asks. Jean's too shy to join the club. We hardly ever see her, but she likes her birds, and Pete often brings in her photos. That lady can take a picture. And then I'm thinking, maybe I should have checked that Gottingen even has a birdwatching society before I said anything. I had no idea if there were any birders in Germany. I didn't need to worry. They're as keen as us. Lisa helped me find out who to contact, and before I knew it, we had 15 Germans heading to Cheltenham the following October. So, off I trot to the next meeting, really looking forward to letting everyone know. And I'm standing there, all excited, ready to start, anticipating the reaction. And they're all sitting down looking at me, and I say, well, I've heard back from Gottingen Birdwatching Society, and they're really up for it. Everyone's smiling, there's a little cheer, even some applause. I go on. They'll be here for 3 nights, Thursday, Friday and Saturday at the beginning of October. So make a note in your diary. Silence. It's like I flicked a switch. The off switch. No response at all. Just a sea of blank faces. What do you mean they're coming here? Pete then pipes up. I thought we were going there. Well, that's how it works, I said. It's an exchange. We have to ask them here first. Did you think we'd just invite ourselves to their homes? Turns out none of them had registered the exchange part of the plan. They just thought we were going on a trip. Homes, Pete said, looking horrified. Yes, homes, I tell him. We invite them to stay with us, and if it goes well, hopefully they'll invite us back. What am I going to tell Jean? He shrieks. She won't want some strange German staying in our house. But you were happy for her to go and stay in some strange German's house, I point out. I thought we'd be staying in a hotel, he says. Nobody said anything about houses. Priceless. A couple of them are fine about it, once they understand. Jack says it'll be nice to have some company in the house for a few days. He's got a couple of spare rooms set up for the grandkids, so he offers to take up to 4. Doug's up for it too. Turns out he speaks German. It's a bit of a relief. I've been asking one of Lisa's friends to help with translation up till then. But most are hurling obstacles at me. No spare beds, wouldn't know what to feed them. Only 1 bathroom, too disruptive for the kids. What if we don't get on? Honestly, to be there to believe it. I'm so angry. I can hardly speak, nicely. Fine, I say. I'll let them know we've changed our minds, and I walk out just like that. I go home and I write an email straight off. Dear Gerhard, I'm sorry we'll have to cancel your trip, as the Cheltenham Birders are a bunch of inhospitable xenophobes and I can't find enough beds. Lisa reads it over my shoulder. You might want to finesse that a little. Lisa says she can probably find some host families. That's not the point, is it? That'd be rubbish. Just farm 'em out to anyone, when I know for a fact that quite a few of those refusing have perfectly good spare rooms. After hours of agonising, I finally sent something to Lisa's friend to translate. Gerhard, their chairman, seems to understand English, but I thought the least I could do was write to him in German. I could at least be courteously inhospitable. Good job, really. Next morning my inbox is full. They've all had a think. There's even one from Pete. Apparently Jean's not terrified of Germans after all. Turns out she has really good memories of a German school exchange. They'd be happy to put one in their spare room, or two if they're a couple. We're back on. So October comes round and the Gottingen Birdwatching Society lands in Cheltenham. We had a special club night that evening. Wine and cheese, We'd asked them to bring some slides of their local birds, give a bit of a presentation, and we do the same. Jack was in charge of organising ours. He's the old man of the group. What he doesn't know about British birds isn't worth knowing. Been birding since he was a boy, way back in the mists of time. Doesn't brag though, just quietly answers any questions without fuss. I knew he wouldn't make it all about him. We let them go first, and one of their younger members, Simon, shows us all these beautiful pictures taken by members of the club. His English was amazing. Puts us with our swy beer bitter to shame. It's amazing what you can communicate with body language when you have to, though. Our lot are there giving little rounds of applause to show appreciation for particular pictures. The Germans are pointing to each other and miming cameras to let them know who the photographer is. By the time Simon's finished, everyone's feeling relaxed and the ice is well and truly broken. So it's our turn next, and Jack stands up. He asks Simon to translate for him, says it's important that everyone understands the story. And I have a sudden thought. What if they've included some of my pictures as a joke? It's the sort of thing Jack might do. He looks like butter wouldn't melt, but he can be a bit of a joker. So the last thing I'm expecting is a picture of a British soldier during the Second World War. But that's what I'm looking at. And I don't know what to think. Has he become senile in the week since I've seen him last? Have I never noticed that he's a racist? I start to panic. Everyone's looking a bit confused. I'm wondering if I need to do something. Stop him, maybe. And then he's explaining that this soldier is his dad, and that he was a POW in Germany during the war. And I'm thinking, that's it. The evening's ruined. And then I'm worrying about the four staying in Jack's house, wondering if he's invited them so he can exact some sort of revenge. And then he puts up a really beautiful watercolour of a bird done by his dad, whilst a prisoner. I don't know what to think now. But then Jack tells us that his dad was able to paint these pictures because a German soldier provided him with the paints and the paper. He was a birder too. He saw Jack's dad sketch him one day and came in with artist materials for him the next. Just like that. So Jack shows us everything he did, one after another. Paintings and sketchings of so many birds. It was good. The details were amazing. And on the back of each, notes of when he saw it, how often and what it was doing. It was the most beautiful record of his birding in the camp. The room's still, silent and still, but in a good way. There are tingles going up and down my spine, and I'm sure others are feeling the same. And then the final picture is a photo of Jack's dad in the 60s standing next to another man, smiling. And this is the German soldier, Thomas. They found each other after the war and became friends. They were friends till Thomas died. Jack knew him as Uncle Tom. And then Jack leaves the room just like that. I'm thinking it's all been too much for him. I'm about to go after him, make sure he's okay, but then he's coming back in, clutching something. And he's back at the front with one of his dad's paintings in a frame. And he's asking Gerhardt to come up to the front so he can present the picture to him as a gift, as a symbol of friendship, as a symbol that birds and nature know no borders, and nor should those who appreciate them. Gerhardt shakes Jack's hand, clearly moved. Then he pauses, hands the picture to Simon, and he hugs Jack. The two of them stand there at the front of the room and they're embracing. Total strangers till that day. But there they are. Everyone's smiling. A few were snivelling. I might have been one of them. And when they stop, Jack has tears in his eyes. But he looks happy. Time for a glass of wine, I think, he says simply. Never looked back after that. The whole trip was a resounding success. They brought him here. Good as gold they were. Not a peep out of anyone whilst we were in the hide. But in the pub afterwards, that's a different story. We've done the return leg too. Been to Gottingen. That's when I got these. I tried to give them to Jack, but he said he was happy with the ones he's got. French next. We have a few coming over from Annecy in a few months. There's no stopping us. Lisa thinks it's hilarious. Nerds without borders, she calls us. It's good though. I'm glad she suggested it. Right, back to it. I've probably scared everything off gabbing to you, mind. Quiet now.